all about.
Yeah. Yep.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, so for the people, thank you so much. So for the viewers who just joined, can you explain your background a little bit and when you got interested being a sports reporter in the sports business? Because I know you played soccer before.
Yeah. So I mean, my sports career started as an athlete. You know, I was a 3-time All-American soccer player. I ran track in college. I did have the opportunity to step into the professional scene, but actually instead went the route of coaching college soccer, where I got my master's. And that's actually where my broadcasting career really officially began. It was something I always wanted to get into, and my major was in communication, but I never really solely focused on being a sports reporter. So the moment that I started working at Lehigh University as a coach, getting my degree, I also started working in freelance writing and becoming and embracing being a sports reporter in that sense. So, you know, I redid and rebranded myself completely on my social media, put together a YouTube channel, was pumping out articles and doing interviews, and even helping with the Lehigh sports media department in terms of their athletics and helping to cover Lehigh sports, doing highlight videos, doing live game covers, whatever it may be. So, you know, from there, I really just started grinding and busting my butt to get as much experience, get my name out there, get my face out there. I built my own website. And from there, I've been able to be fortunate to have opportunities to be able to get forward in my career. Hey, Taylor, shut up. And move forward in my career in the sense that I now am working with Fox Sports covering the Mystics and the Wizards down in D.C., working with ESPN covering college sports, whether it's live, doing sideline reporting or color commentary, hosting my own podcast on the Headlines with Renee Washington, and being a part of I Do It for Hip Hop podcast as well. So I have really been embracing this chapter of my life where I have the ability to cover so many different sports, so many like college and professional level, as well as to be involved on the hip hop entertainment and culture side. So yeah, it's been great, and it hasn't been easy, but honestly, it's something that I don't even know how many jobs I have. You know, I don't know the last time I worked one job. I don't know the last time I had 2 jobs for that matter.
Wow.
You know, I've been fortunate that I've had some great people around me to network, to work with, and to continue to grow my career as a sports broadcaster.
Yeah, you just have to keep, I mean, for you, I mean, I'm just, like, for you, it's just amazing what I'm seeing, and you just have to keep going, keep working hard, and just keep moving. And so people, they can't stop. They just have to keep moving. Yep. But if you don't mind, I just saw your page, your other page, Beyond, I think it was Beyond Renee, your other page. Can you explain what show is that? And apparently it looks like that you have something going on tonight at 8 p.m., right?
I do. So, and I am actually working in other areas besides sports reporting. I cannot forget to mention I'm a motivational speaker. I work as a model. But something that I have really always tried to embody with all the work that I do is to be able to reach different people. So through my show, Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington, that show really tries to take the conversation beyond just the typical sports headlines. So instead of just all the headlines you read, The Last Dance, whatever it may be, having deeper conversations, inspirational stories come to the forefront, bringing people on from not only just sports backgrounds, but I have musicians and artists that come on. They share their music each week. I've got people working in all different fields, whether it's medical fields or entertainment fields or whatever it may be in my Positive Vibes Only segment I do each week that are doing something great in their community to also be a part of the show. So now it's not just sports topics. We're going beyond the headlines with everybody. I'm helping to promote people on their grind, helping to promote people that are in their careers, trying to make us, move forward. And then also I have announced and have been doing the last couple of weeks now, every Wednesday having an IG Live similar to this, just a conversation. I think, as you know, this is a great time to be able to sit down and talk to people, even if it's virtually, that you normally may not have spoke to before. So even like this conversation we're having, the pandemic, for as much as it has uprooted and changed so many people's lives, I know it has also allowed me more clarity in my career and focus to figure out, okay, how can I recreate myself and be even more dynamic to reach more people? So not everyone's going to follow each of my social media pages or listen to my show, but they might listen on IG Live. They might follow me on Twitter. So I just always try to reach people in as many different outlets and platforms as possible in the coverage that I do, whether it's in sports, whether it's me modeling, whether it's my motivational speaking, I'm writing books as we speak. I just really try to get out there in all aspects to try to reach people to make a positive change. And that's the biggest reason, honestly, that's my why. That's my biggest reason behind everything that I do, with youth coaching, with everything that I do is to help promote and inspiration and motivation to people that may not have had that otherwise.
Interesting, yeah. So now, since you said you covered the Mystics, let's start with the WNBA. What were your thoughts on the WNBA virtual draft this year? I think it went smoothly. And what are your thoughts on the Mystics? And obviously Sabrina, one wonderful talent from Oregon, and now translating to the WNBA. So first, give me your thoughts on the draft, and then go from Sabrina and then the Mystics.
Well, for the draft in itself and for the WNBA as a whole, it's been really incredible. And I'm actually fortunate to come into the league and be writing and working with the league at this time with the Mystics, because the WNBA is moving in the right direction. Women's sports as a whole is moving in the right direction. So it's very encouraging. I know part of the reason why I stepped away from the professional scene and seeing all the changes in the professional league from back when I was playing soccer in 2014 to now, it's just incredible to see how much growth has happened. And so, of course, the Washington Mystics won they won the WNBA last year in 2019. They're coming back defending their title. And also, aside from that excitement in itself, you see things like the CBA that was rolled out in January that's allowing these players to have a full-time income and the financial support and resources that they need to be able to fully be a full-time WNBA player. It allows them to be a professional and focus on their craft. They did not have that before. They didn't have the accommodations that they needed and the finances that they needed. So that in itself is incredible to watch. So the draft, although virtual, and the NFL draft has been virtual, we've been seeing all these virtual moves because of the circumstances that we're in. It has been incredible to see the support around whether it's a virtual draft, or as you mentioned with Sabrina coming out of Oregon, the talent that's coming out of Oregon. I think it just speaks volumes to the growth of the game itself, that we're even having more conversations around the WNBA than we ever saw before. There's more players that want to be like Sabrina, or want to be like Elena Deladon, or want to be like Asia Wilson, whoever it is that, before maybe that we didn't have that before. There's the excitement is bigger than ever. Even the offseason moves that we saw. I mean, Phoenix now has a big three. Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner. We didn't have
That's ridiculous.
So it's so fun to see, regardless who your team is. I know for me as a female, as a woman in sports, I'm always rooting for other women in sports. And to see the WNBA take off the way they're doing and kind of be the pioneers for other women in sports, it's incredible to watch. So it's
man, that's like, speaking of Phoenix Mercury, that is like, this reminds me of the Miami Heat Big Three.
It does.
With LeBron, Dwayne Wade. I mean, I think there's no excuse for them to win the title this year if they have a season. But going back to your soccer career real quick, what was it? What was that experience like, and playing soccer with your teammates, and what was that like before going to your reporting thing?
Yeah, so I mean, I think something that I always tell everyone, and I still am fortunate that I work in soccer just in different roles now as a reporter, and I actually coach youth soccer to work to give back to the next generation. But the biggest thing that sports have always taught me, is soccer specifically, is the drive that you really have to have. Like, I watched The Last Dance, and I'm like, I actually can resonate with a lot of things that Michael Jordan is saying, because I've lived that every day. I am a minority in a sport that is predominantly white. I am a minority in the sense that I'm a female in sports. So for the way that I carry myself and the way that I've learned, like, part of my grind and hustle that I have today comes from because of playing soccer.
Right.
Like, if I was never able to just settle and be complacent with the role that I'm in, and never ever comfortable in just being good enough. And I've always pushed myself to exceed those expectations, to continue to raise the level. So that directly translates into who I am as a reporter, as a coach, as a model, as a mentor, as a motivation. Whatever area I'm working in, I always strive to be 10 times better than those around me, because that's the way that I was brought up. That's what my parents instilled in me. That's what they instilled in my family, my siblings. And that's how I've always carried myself. It's not enough to be average. It's not enough to just do the bare minimum. You have to always be competing. If not for anybody else, you're competing to be better than yourself. You're competing to raise the bar and raise the level. So that's something I've always tried to bring, regardless of what area I'm working in. I'm super competitive. Like, the worst, don't play a board game with me or something. I'm awful about it. But that's just who I am. That's the nature. That's the mentality I've always had, that Mamba mentality of, like, I got to continue to push myself and raise the bar and play at a higher level. So soccer, I honestly have so many incredible memories, but I think the biggest thing that even gave me was preparation for life, preparation for my career, preparation for everything that I'm doing today. I don't know that I would have had that same, same feelings had I not played soccer. I don't know that I'd be the same person I am today had I not played soccer. So it's incredible to see now how it translates into my career, and I'm excited to see, how this continues to grow.
Yeah. So who was your role model in the sports business, and who was your favorite soccer team?
Ooh. So I would say role models. I have a lot, and I still do have a lot because I have role models that help in different areas. So actually, because this is super cliche, my role model is actually my older sisters. So they rabbit, so to speak. It's like I always live by this, like there's someone that you're always chasing to be better than. And my older sisters, they're 3 years older than me. So I used to practice with them. They'd beat up on me in the yard. They'd beat up, and they were the two that literally got my sports career started because I was the younger sibling that was always eager to jump in with them. Whether it was soccer or basketball, we used to play in the yard all the time. We'd play in the living room, the basement, the garage, anywhere we could play. Pick up soccer games, we'd be out in the driveway shooting, playing horse, whatever it is. We were just always competing and always playing. And that was something that, like, looking back on my childhood and then as we got older, as it continued to progress, they always continued to push me. And they still do. So, like, I have people that I look up to in the broadcasting world and people I look up to as athletes. But it all started at home for me. My biggest role models were the people around me. My parents, my dad was a professional basketball player overseas. My mom played college basketball. I come from a sports family. So they all were the ones that really helped prepare me and push me to continue to, be grounded and humbled, but also always be motivated to continue to challenge myself. And then in terms of a favorite team, I don't know. Like I used to, the league has changed so much since when I was growing up. So I used to go to the games for the Philadelphia Charge. And that was the team, the women's team that I love to watch. I of course I've always looked up to players like Messi and Ronaldo and players like that. On the basketball side, ironically, the Mystics were a team, I used to look up to like Shamika Holtzlaw and Cynthia Cooper down in Houston. Like there were the Comets actually were probably a team in basketball I was looked up to. I wanted to be a professional soccer player, basketball player. I wanted to do it all. So, I wanted to be the one that played all professional sports. So for me, like I never got to play professional basketball. Being able to cover teams and cover the league in itself, a league that I at one point wanted to play in, was like that surreal moment. Like, wow, I made it. I made it to professional basketball. Not on the court in the sense that I was hoping, but I'm here. I have a lot of role models, a lot of people that I've looked up to, and even just studied in the sense that, okay, how did they carry themselves? How did they go about, as a reporter or as a player or as a coach that I really look up to?
Interesting. So my next question here is, this is really important. I think everybody should be asking this question too. Explain to me, like, obviously now a lot of women is getting opportunities to coach in male sports, and like Becky Hammond, for example, being with the Spurs, and like Nancy Lieberman is another example. Oh, yeah. But explain to me like how this evolved for you guys over the years, where all these women, you guys are getting a lot of opportunities, and I really want Becky Hammond to get that job at some point, being the head coach in NBA.
Oh yeah, so. And I think it's going to happen. I think it's only a matter of time before we see. Slings are sliding. I think it's only a matter of time before we see that first female head coach in the NBA. We're getting there. We're getting closer. We're seeing that women are getting, assistant coaching positions, even front office positions. Like talk about Nancy Lieberman being involved with the big three. There are women in high positions of power, and that's honestly the biggest step that was needed. And I've had this conversation around women in sports several times, and I always felt like it's similar to diversity in general, whether it's racial, gender, whatever it may be. The diversity that has to happen, someone has to pioneer it, because essentially, in order for people to be hired that look different, you have to start somewhere. And by having women that are now taking on roles, whether it's a top D1 women's basketball program like Notre Dame, or it's a top, or even involved in college coaching, getting involved at the ground up, starting as an assistant. So just any aspect of working in sports to now continue to grow. that's what it's going to take. And now with that, you see more girls, more youth, more people in the next generation that are saying, you know what, I want to be like Becky Hammon. I can do it too. And that's something, I know there are some organizations out there. I actually was interviewing an organization for my show called the MCAA. It's the Minorities Coaches Advancement Association in football, that's working across all football levels to help increase diversity from a racial and a gender standpoint in football. Professional, college, high school, whatever it may be. There have to be more people that are involved in that, but also more people that are okay with having the conversation. Like, it's okay for us to talk about how we can increase diversity in coaching. It's okay to talk about how we can increase diversity in reporting and people that are in the sports media world, because that's what it's going to take. If we keep acting like we can't address the elephant in the room and we're not comfortable having those conversations, how are we going to ever get comfortable to make those hiring changes and make those changes? So I think now, through social media being a huge part of it, and just more people that are speaking up, there's no more gender roles in that sense of like, oh, women can't speak up. You can't have a voice. You can't be a part of the conversation. No, now you see a lot of women leading the conversation, and that's what it's going to take. More and more people have to continue to speak up and be okay with speaking up on their views, on things that they're seeing that aren't right, on ethical things, integrity, pushing themselves to get these positions, because it's going to take, it's not going to be on one person. It's going to take a whole army of people from all different areas that take leadership and being the ones to pioneer it for the rest of us.
Yeah. So my next question here, what advice would you give these young sports reporters that are trying to be like me, you, and other people that are in the sports business?
That's a good question. There's a lot. I would say something there's a lot. I'm trying to think of the best thing I could tell people. So I think one thing that a lot of people have to realize is that nothing is given to you in this life. And as a double minority, I learned that at a very young age, you have to earn everything. There's no one's giving you a silver spoon. No one's giving you a handout. And more importantly, the time that it takes everybody to reach their goals will vary. Like, my path is different from your path and the next person's journey and the next person's career. So don't expect that because someone was able to land that job, that it means that you're going to now land that job. Or because you talk to someone and get advice. I have a lot of people that say, well, what was your career journey? Okay, I don't mind sharing it with you, but understand that you can't now go out and try to copy and do exactly what I did. You have to figure out your own journey. Like, it's like no two career paths are the same. So a lot of people get stuck up on the time. Well, I've been working.
Just speaking.
So whenever I get people that come up to me that are like, oh my gosh, I've had people that, oh my gosh, your story that you told on let's just say, whoever, was so great, it inspired me, thank you. Or I appreciate the interview you did with so-and-so, thank you. Like, those moments of gratitude that I get from people, or when they feel like compelled to come say something to me, that is the most incredible thing. Like, when I covered high school sports, I used to love the fact that parents or grandparents.
Did you listen to Drake's new mixtape?
Actually, duh.
Oh, Jay-Z. Yeah, Jay-Z's old.
I did listen to some of it, not all of it. Again, everything Drake puts out is literally amazing. Him, Beyonce, there's been a lot of new music coming out lately. Thank goodness, because it gives us something exciting to look forward to now. But yeah, his did you listen to it?
Yeah, I already put one of the songs on my workout videos already. So
there you go.
That's how good it is. Favorite food?
Steak.
Favorite thing to do outside of your work?
Is there such thing as outside of work? So, okay, cheesy, spending time with family, but I like shutting off my phone and just being present. So, like, going for a walk or just binge watching Netflix, something that's away from my phone, since I feel like I'm on technology 99% of my days. So, yeah, step it away.
Do you think Sabrina will win the Rookie of the Year if they have a season?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who else. It'd have to be a big surprise there, but she's definitely the front runner, without a doubt.
Do you think Tom Brady will win another Super Bowl in the next 2 years with his new team?
I think they at least are a competitor out of their division. They at least have a potential, I think, either being a wild card, if not winning the division and getting into the playoffs. But I don't see them being better than the Chiefs, the Ravens. I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm going to say the Eagles too. Nah.
Oh no! Come on now. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh, this discussion's over. All right, I see how it is. No. I have friends that are Cowboys fans. I have family that's Cowboys fans. I can't stand you guys.
Oh man.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I Remember the Titans. I'm a big Love and Basketball fan. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Remember the Titans though. Love and Basketball has always been one of my favorite movies, but now that I'm getting older, it's becoming a little bit too wrapped my head around it, because it's just terrible to think that you can be going on as usual and everything just be gone in the blink of a moment. Especially knowing that it was something that could have been avoided. So it's awful, because Gianna and her teammates, the girls that were on the plane as well, they had such a bright career, a bright future, and that's something that I know I also can't get over the fact. Okay, we saw Kobe be the NBA player, the champion, the MVP. Kobe the All-Star, Kobe the retired dad, and then we were starting to see what he was like in his dad coach mood. Now working with Gianna and working with, players like Sabrina and different, the next generation of players. So we got to see him in those roles. He got to get married and have kids and have a career. Yeah. Gianna never got that. Her teammates never got that. So to think about how young you really are, and her birthday was just passed, that she would have been turning 14, it still doesn't feel real, As much as the pandemic has been hard to wrap your head around, Kobe and Gianna, not everybody involved, all of the poor victims that passed away, I can't even. I was watching All-Star Game and still getting teary-eyed. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fully, digest all of this, because it's just awful.
Yeah, and yesterday was Vanessa's birthday too, so that was crazy. But and the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the frontline people that's helping us out right now?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm just so thankful for people that are fighting this war. It's a different kind of war. We're still fighting to protect the people around the world, still fighting to save lives. Hearing the interviews and the stories about all that's going on behind the scenes is also gut-wrenching. Knowing people that I'm close to, and even stories that I've read of people that have dealt with loved ones passing away, and the way that you're not able to communicate with them or have a proper funeral or anything like that. I'm just so thankful that there are people out there that are sacrificing their time and putting their own lives in danger to protect us. So I know it's hard for us to stay home. It's hard for people to be patient, as, we're still hoping to get back to school and sports and work and everything. And even a lot of people that are taking a financial hit and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you're healthy, that's all we can be, that's all we can think about right now. That's all we can really be focused and grateful for right now, because there are people out there waking up working all hours of the day to keep us safe. So I'm just so thankful. And honestly, God bless anybody that's an essential worker, working the front line, someone even like my dad that's out there working, because you are each day putting your own life in danger just to sacrifice and help others around you. So hopefully we are near the end, but I don't know.
Yeah, well said.
I don't know.
Well said. I think there's still ways to go, but I'm hoping soon. But whoever's in this chat, or whoever joined this chat, please, my cousin and I and my brother, we all have a GoFundMe page going on right now, live, for the frontline people and for the local food businesses, and we've raised over $2,000 already, and we handed out food supplies to all the cops, nurse, doctors, and to a soup kitchen today. So please, everyone go check the link. Is on my bio on Instagram. Whoever can donate, anything will help right now. But if you guys can, then it's fine. But please check the link on my bio on Instagram. And so there she is, the talented Renee P. Washington. She does a great job. Keep up the great work. Go follow her on Twitter, Instagram, and tune in tonight on her show. It's gonna be a good one. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast, and it's been inspiring and an honor. And I'll be posting this interview in all social media formats later on today. So
thank you. I love that you got your trophies in the background. I see you play soccer.
yeah, those actually those are those are my brother's trophy. Yeah, my younger brother he played soccer too.
Yeah, so. I see the soccer balls over there too. Guys, these are trophies when things are so innocent and fun. Just getting the trophy.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I appreciate you. I know.
Yeah, anytime.
You know, I'm happy that we were able to make this work. I'm happy that we were able to have a chance to chat and continue doing what you're doing. Anything I can do to help, I'll do it for sure. No
Thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll talk again.
Of course.
Yeah.